Now hiring signs will line windows all over the state of Idaho. Most industries, though, don't face some of the negative perceptions law enforcement agencies do, adding to this challenge to recruit and retain these employees.
That's right. The Idaho Department of Corrections knows this pressure as it faced critical staffing shortages in the state's prisons over the past year. Now, finally, the director says the situation does not seem so bleak. Tell me your first and last name and your title.
Josh Tewalt, Director, Idaho Department of Corrections. While, a lot of people were hunkering down at home and trying to figure out what was next, our folks were showing up to work every single day, and we held really, really strong for a significant amount of time, especially early in the pandemic.
And now what?
And now I think it's a confluence of events where, that hypervigilance and that demand took its toll. As you would have those spikes in COVID, or as you would have those increases in quarantine, you'd also see folks just get burnt out, get exhausted, and I think you see the resultant turnover. And so as people leave, it has a disproportionate effect on the people who stay behind, and which then creates another cycle of burnout.
Do you know how many positions you're down currently?
I want to say we're hovering around that 76% staffed rate. You feel the effects of that staffing, and it's not just for the people who work in our correctional facilities, it's for the people who live there too, because that means there are certain things that we can't do in the same way. It means we may not have staff to be able to provide escorts to various places that people may need to go, whether it's to receive programming or to do visiting or to do some of those other things.
Would you guys say you're at a crisis level right now with staffing?
Yeah, I think we are. And then, I mean, we were you look at where we were last winter when the governor activated the National Guard to come help at our facilities. Our situation has improved, but it hasn't resolved, and so we still are at a critical level. What I think we have now more than we did then is the confidence that we're on the right trajectory to continue to make steady progress towards improving our staffing levels.
Does pay help with recruitment and retention?
It's significant, but it's also not the answer. It's part of the answer, but a lot of work comes down to tolerance threshold. I'm willing to put up with this much trouble for this much pay, and I think it's on us as employers, it's on us as leaders in the Department of Correction to make sure that you have that balance, that you're compensating people in a way that is fair and commensurate with the work that they do, but that you're also creating an environment where they are fulfilled by the work that they do, because I think that has an intrinsic value that keeps people coming to work every day, given the unique ability that they have to affect people's lives. We still have a long way to go, but we're now entering, I think, our 8th steady week of having more applications and leads and hires than people separating from the agency. We're really fortunate in Idaho that we live where we do, that we have all the benefits that we do, but there's a security that comes from living here that's provided by the men and women who choose to answer this really important call of public safety.
Okay, so you heard the director talk about what is working well for IDOC. You heard him saying they're getting more applicants now than they have recently, so that's good news. Departments do have some solutions to recruiting and retaining staff. Yeah, and tomorrow we'll take you inside 2 Treasure Valley Police Departments. One, we're told, is sort of an anomaly when it comes to this problem. The other is on the right track. That's in part 3 of our series about how your Idaho law enforcement agencies are coping with a cop shortage.